All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and the Son, Yahweh Bashmiel Shah Bashim Rakak Radash. Double honors to the apostles of the great millstone that told me what I know today, and as well as giving you brothers your salutations you deserve for forwarding this ministry worldwide. And as well as I say Shalom to the Yakim Wagwaf Yam that support we sing what we do, most importantly take heed. It's your brother Laban at you with another video, and I just want to briefly address this video here. As you can see, man, I'm a bit disappointed. And it's this woman that's 36 years old, and she makes $144,000 a year, and she has a man which is basically a stay-at-home father, you know. And what I'm gonna say is this, man. Like, the reason why Esau is using this woman, the black woman to be exact, is because, for one, our people are naturally influential. We influence the world. So what they're going to do is they're going to tell women in this case that, look, see, she was able to do it, so therefore you can do it too. Do what? You can take on a role which is a masculine role, and you can make a lot of money and have a man that plays your role instead. So instead of you being the wife you're supposed to be to a man, you don't have to do that. You can be the man, and the man as your husband can be the wife. You know what I'm saying? And this is what this is telling women, young women to be exact, because she's about within my generation. So, you know, they don't really care about us because we up there now, right? They're showing this to women that's like in their teens, late teens, going in their 20s, the new generation. They tell y'all, all right, to destroy y'all, to keep this trend going. And now I want to get down to the bottom of it as to why they're promoting this. Why are they promoting feminism? Why is CNBC promoting feminism like this? Well, there you have it. She's showing you the diamond sign, which she's a part of. So they told her to push this narrative that, see, I bring $144,000 a year, and my husband is a stay-at-home father. And like I said, they're promoting this to you so that you can duplicate this model for yourselves. And this is a failed model. This is a model that will keep your household at a failure state. Okay? Matriarchal settings around the world are failure models. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a part 2 to that, because I'm going to prove my point in what I just said. There's places around the world that are less progressive because they're matriarchal. Okay? I want to speak about all of that. I'm going to get into all of that. But in this video right here, I'm going to just get into the basis of why this feminism stuff is going to continue to fail our women for the most part. Because, see, this stuff right here, you know, it affects men too. But for the most part, it's really having an effect on our women, and women in general that are always in the masculine. You know, what tends to happen a lot of the times, it tends to have it to where women stay single for the rest of their lives. All right. Women that's operating in a feminine, you know, in that masculine vibration, they pick up men that are not willing to play their part. And this is what happens. So this is another way of keeping you Jakes oppressed. This is actually one of the greatest ways to keep our people oppressed in the projects, man. All right. That's why our people, ever since the women's liberation came into effect, our people have been in the projects ever since. Now, we've always kind of been in poor predicaments, but we've been in worse predicaments ever since this came in. So the people that's in charge of your media, that's bringing this to you, that's invoking this spirit to you, they're doing it so that you can remain at the bottom, so that we can fail as a people. Okay? And this guy over here, which owns Comcast, which Comcast runs CNBC, okay? Brian Roberts, his name is, a so-called Jew. All right? And these people over here have always been behind the downfall of the so-called African American, and as well as all of you tribes. All right? All of you tribes, they've been responsible for our downfall. You know, whether you're a so-called African American, West Indian, Latino, Native American, Indian, they've been behind our downfall, and as well as they've been the main ones that have been rich off of our enslavement as well. So to keep themselves in business, they got to keep us out of business, because isn't it the world? Is it about family and business? Of course it is. So what they have done is, as what Aaron Russo is going to expound on, because he actually spoke to one of the Rockefellers, right? What they've done is they've came together and conspired together to create an idea, a model which will fail the poor, to be exact, and to keep them poor, to keep them from elevating. And that was the women's liberation movement. All right, that was the failed idea, so that they can use that for you, and you can, be rooted in with that. And guess what? The same people that came up with this idea for you to undergo, guess what? They don't rule their families like that. You think this guy's family has it to where females are running his household? You think he grew up like that? He didn't grow up like that. So why is he promoting this for our people? This is what you got to question. Why are they using our people to basically promote us to fail? Just like I mentioned, man, it's about business. They need us to stay at the bottom so that they can stay at the top. And this is not only telling so-called black people to just do what this woman is doing, or so-called black women for that matter, to keep the children from being progressive and to just continue to fail. But what it also does, it influence regular other so-called white people to do the same thing. That's what this does, because they know that our people are naturally influenced or influencers. Most people listen to our music all around the world, whether it's rap music, whether it's reggae music. People follow our trends. We're the trendsetters naturally. So any trend that Jake pushes out there, the world is going to follow under that trend. So if you can get an unattractive black woman with all of that makeup on, but she got a decent personality, hey, you could promote a narrative, man, and spread this narrative towards her. She could spread this narrative towards her people, and as well as other people that live in America, and keep the rest of the population in America at a failed situation. Because that's what this feminism stuff is, man. Is a failed model. All right, to raise children with. All right, and as I'm gonna say too, her family that she got, I'm just gonna be truthful, man. I don't really care if you don't like the way I'm gonna put this, but I'm gonna just state the facts. I gotta state the facts, because we at the Great Millstone, we deal with the truth, whether you like the truth or not. And you know what the truth is? This is not even a family. Let me explain my point when I say what I say, because what we're gonna do is, I'm not gonna talk too much. We're gonna read the scripture, okay? Because a family is also known as a house in the scripture, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read Genesis chapter 12. Where was I? I was reading something about Abraham. Right. Twelve and 1. It was looking directly at me, man. This is Genesis 12 and verse 1. Now the Lord Yahweh had said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country, right? And from thy kindred, and from thy father's house. Let's look up this word house. Let's look up this word house. In the Hebrew. So the word is bayath. Now we have the biblical usages here. House, dwelling, habitation, shelter, abode of animals, human bodies, of Sheol, abode of light and darkness, of land of Ephraim, place, receptacle, home, house, as containing a family, household, family, those belonging to the same household, family of descendants. It gets deeper. Descendants as organized bodies. All right. So there you go. That's the best one that really brings home the point in this scripture, in this case. Okay. A household is also known as a family. So now we got to think, if it takes a man to build a family, which is also known as a house, which is what's naturally in him, to build a house, is that he is a constructive being. So if you take a man, which is a constructive being, out of the equation, and the woman puts herself in the front, which the only thing that she knows how to do naturally is to nurture, you have a destroyed household. Because you need a man to build on the family, which is also his house, his lineage. So that's why I said that this is not a family. This is an invention of something else, which is going to fail. This is going to break up. Okay, this ain't going to last too long. I know this. When a woman's in a particular position, a masculine role, and she has a man that's in his feminine role, guess what? A lot of the times, the woman becomes frustrated, man. And I'm going to read that as well. Let me see if I can pull that. There it is right here. Oh, man. This is the spirit. This is Ecclesiasticus, Sirach 25 and verse 21. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman and desire her not for pleasure. That's not the point. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. And this is what this is going to lead up to. Excuse me. Women become angry and reproachful because they have to maintain a man. Like you hear it all the time. Like a woman will tell you straight, I ain't going to take care of no man. Okay, one minute they want to be leaders, but they don't want to take care of the man because it's not in them to take care of no damn man. It's for the man to take care of her and lead by example as the man of the house. That's his role. Just like, for example, when a man's playing a feminine role, he feels violated, right? So do women. Women feel violated when they're playing a man's role. And she's not happy about this. She's just promoting this nonsense because basically they told her to do it. She's in that world. CNBC. She done made it in CNBC. So she got to be someone that has ties and connections to these lower level witches and warlocks. So they telling her, look, we need you to promote this narrative and to tell so-called black women and tell women in general, I can bring 144,000 to the house while my man stays at home and plays the wife. I play the husband, he plays the wife. All right. So she's not a happy woman. She's just acting like she's a happy woman, but she's really not a happy woman. She's lying. Okay. She's lying to herself and she's lying to you in the process. This is a failed model. Okay, I'm going to keep on saying that. So now let's get another precept here. As for my people, children are their oppressors and women rule over them. And O my people, which lead thee to cause thee to err and to destroy the ways of thy path. And this was already done by these JOOs, which are indeed the Rockefeller family. And this guy actually is going to expound on why they came up with this idea of the feminism movement. All right. The women's liberation movement, excuse me, and what it was meant for. The 3 reasons why they created this. So I'm going to play this video. And what I'll do is I'm going to put this on the post production so you can hear him clearly what he's actually going to say. And you're going to see exactly why it was created for.
Well, one of the things they told me was that he was at the house one night and we were talking and he started laughing. He said, Aaron, what do you think women's liberation was about? And I said, I had pretty conventional thinking about it at that point. I said, I think it's about women having the right to work, getting equal pay with men, just like they won the right to vote, you know? And he started to laugh. He said, you're an idiot. And I said, why am I an idiot? He said, let me tell you what that was about. We, the Rockefellers, funded that. We funded women's lib, you know? And we're the ones who got all over the newspapers and television, the Rockefeller Foundation. He says, and you want to know why? He says, there were 2 primary reasons. And they were, one reason was we couldn't tax half the population before women's lib. And the second reason was Now we get the kids in school at an early age. We can indoctrinate the kids how to think. It breaks up the family. The kids start looking at the state as the family, as the school, as the officials, as their family, not as the parents teaching them. And so those are the two primary reasons for women's lib, which I thought up to that point was a noble thing. You know, when I saw their intentions behind it, where they were coming from when they created it, the thought of it, I saw the evil behind what I thought was a noble adventure.
Read by unruly women, which women are emotional. Women don't know how to rule their emotions very well. So when you have that kind of entity leading over you, you become just like that. And that's why you have craziness and animalistic behavior in these areas, man. Okay? And we all grew up around these people. We all came up in these spots and everything like that. And we know what that is. Okay? We know exactly what that is. So again, as I'm going to say, the whole women being in the position of being a leader is not right. Okay? They gave women rights to destroy themselves and to destroy their households. This is why when you look at Jake is bugged the fuck out. The communities is actually not even a community. It's just nothing. Okay? Because a real community and a real family is set up and reared by men. All right. Prior, before the women's liberation movement, which you had a lot of so-called black businesses. Like they like to tell you about, oh, there was just this one city in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which was called Black Wall Street. No, you had a multitude of so-called black communities that had their own, economy of their own. All right. They had their own schools. They had their own banks. They had most of the things that they needed to take care of their own people. This is when men were in positions of power. Again, going back to what I was saying about the man being naturally constructive. So when they took the man out of his position and put the woman in his position, now you have chaos. Just like when Eve took the initiative to not hearken unto the Most High, it wound up destroying Adam because she was led by her own emotions, and she got played by the serpent. And this is what the serpent is doing to perpetuate this trend of feminism, to keep you women destroyed, to give you the right to destroy yourselves. Okay? And the family that you so-called have, the children that you have, to destroy them in the process. So when they get older, guess what? They don't know how to act because you don't have the tools to raise these children the correct way, especially if you're raising young men. All right? Without their fathers. Point blank in the story. It's just that simple. In the ancient world, when you read the scriptures, real families were structured in the right kind of way. Where the men owned land, owned whatever they owned, that was theirs. And his children had his name, and as well as his wife. All of those things were of his inheritance. Okay. And everything was done decently in order. There was a construct. There was an order to things. But what we have in America today is no order. So if you have no order, what do? You get chaos. You get confusion. You get animalistic, acting like hyena children all around the projects. So this is the reason, going back to the video, why they created feminism. And I'm going to re-mention what he said, the 3 reasons why they created it. First reason was to destroy your household so that eventually, second reason, if I could remember what he said, so that the government can step in and be the new father of your children. And this is why nowadays it's mandatory for you to take your child to these institutions, these school systems. All right. And with that being said, they can tell your children that you can change who you are to a different form and invite drag queens in front of your children to do dances and stuff like that, because now they got your children through women's liberation, through the feminism movement. Okay. So what they're doing is they're using this woman, which is within my generation, to promote to younger girls that, look, see, I can do it. You could do the same thing too. There ain't no such thing as gender roles, so that the government can continue to step in the door and to influence your children to do the wrong thing, to keep them destroyed. That's the order. That's the order. That's the real causes why they done this. All right. And I'm going to reinstate what he said again. The first reason was to what? Tax the other half of the population, which in this case he's talking about the women, which as well as in all times there were more women than men. So if you can get that population to work, then they will pay taxes. So therefore the government can what? Profit more. All right. That's why they done that. Reason number one. Reason number two is so that the government can step in your household, your so-called household, which has basically been destroyed anyway, and they can infiltrate your children's mind and brainwash them. That's why you have to take them to these different school institutions for 18 or 16 years of their life. And you can't do a damn thing about it now. Okay? And that's the one. Those are the only two reasons I can remember. But if you want, you can go back and watch the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read. I think I've read what I had to read right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a part 2 to this, and I'm going to go into this particular article over here. And this article is going to show you how it was done in the ancient world in biblical times of our ancient forefathers, how the Israelites did things the right kind of way. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say with that. I'm closing. I say shalom.